You know what's hilarious about it? Is how women are acting like that is a uniquely female experience. You know what's funny? I actually, to the letter of the fucking law, within the last 2.5 years, got sexually assaulted in this business by a woman. Yeah. And this is my story! The fucking law, within the last 2.5 years, got sexually assaulted in this business by a woman. Yeah. And this is my story! I feel like I can live my truth and be brave tonight and share this with you. It's a 100% true fucking story. I was doing stand-up. I was doing a private gig. All right? Private gigs are the fucking worst. You do a public gig, anybody can show up. It broadens what fucking Main Street or you're bombing. So all you do is listen to the first comic to hear what's working and what isn't. You just listen to him as he's up there struggling, going, okay, they like bread. Talk about bread. Get all the bread you can. Don't make fun of the troops. Stay away from the troops, right? So that's what we're doing, right? And the host gets him going, and then he brings up the first act. Okay, she goes on stage. She's not really a comedian, more of a personality. She does her bullshit or whatever, and I'm standing there looking at my jokes, figuring out what I'm doing. She wraps it up. He goes on stage. She goes to get off. I'm thinking, okay, I'm next. I'm looking at my stuff, and I just wanted to punch her in the back of the head as hard as humanly possible. Like, literally make her leave her shoes, you know? But the other side of my brain's like, oh no, dude, you can't do that. You can't do that. It's a woman. And it's just spitball. Well, fucking boot her in the ass then. Boot her in the ass. Can't hit her, dude. Can't hit her. It's a woman. Well, fucking tell somebody. Tell somebody. And all I'm thinking is like, dude, I'm a guy. You can't fucking tell anybody. Nobody gives a shit what happens to a guy. I'm gonna walk up to another man and be like, excuse me, sir, but she just flicked me in my pee-pee and I didn't like that. And equal right, she did it to you, you do it back to her. It started making sense. Like, yeah, fuck that. You flick my dick, I'm gonna flick your clit. That's right. I'll fucking hit the man in the boat. Drop down, uppercut to the bush. Fuck this shit. Think I'm the kind of person who just can flick my dick and walk away like it ain't shit, right? And it was making sense till right when she got there. Finally, I just started thinking of all the sporting events I had watched. And I realized that the referee only sees the retaliation. He never sees the first aggression. And then you have to go to the yellow card, whatever the fuck you people do over here, right? You go to the penalty box. You know what I mean? I don't give a fuck about that, all right? You know, when I was a kid, I had a paper route and I was an altar boy, you know? Yeah, you're gonna have to do a little bit better than flick my dick over my jeans and my underwear. It's like, are we gonna do this or what? Like, what is happening here? It's the fact that she thought she could bully me. So after like fucking 3 days of this shit, I had a splitting headache, and I started realizing, like, wait a minute, she's winning this thing. You know, here I am, still thinking about this, standing there crying like, but Daddy, I love you. He's like, get away from me, I never wanted children. And then he walked through a screen door and he like face planted into this above ground pool. And he had a tool belt on. And it just sort of pulled him under. And she ran out, she grabbed his foot and she was pulling and pulling and his boot came off and she sat down and she just watched him slowly drown. I don't know what happened after that. I just felt like this weight lift off of my chest. Fucking temper, and it just ruined shit. And then my wife always says the same thing. She's always just like, I just don't understand, where did that come from? Where is that coming from? It's you just go from 0 to 100 in 2 seconds. It's like, first of all, I idle at 75 miles an hour, all right? So don't give me this 0 to 100. I walked into this restaurant at 75. I could hear that guy talking too loud on his cell phone from the fucking parking lot. Yeah, I fucking tried. Swear to God, he made us hold him up. My mother's taking pictures in front of the Christmas tree. I'm just standing there like, Afterwards, I ran upstairs to my top bunk. My dad knew he fucked up, to his credit. He came up, he tried to smooth it over. He's like, all right, come on back down. It's over. Come on down, enjoy the holiday. And I'm like, I don't want to eat this. I fucking hate you. Right? He eventually coaxed me down, you know. He softened up a little bit. Look, you don't get your fucking ass back downstairs. No.
Because she's basically like $100 million whale, just sitting there. No, that's not a fat joke. That's a gambling thing. All right? Get
not
your
a
mind.
fat joke.
Yeah,
that's a gambling joke.
I mean, like, she'll make you $100 million. And she's just sitting there on the beach, right? And they gotta figure out what is the acceptable amount of time.
Yes.
After somebody drops the N-word or admits to it, that you can bring them back on TV to make cookies.
Yeah.
Back on TV to make cookies.
Yeah.
That's what it is. So you're saying she's gonna be back on.
She's coming back.
She's making, dude, Dog the Bounty Hunter. I looked it up. 3 months.
3 months.
He got a 3-month suspension, and within 3 months, he was back on TV, and some of the guys he was chasing were African-American, and nobody had a problem with him. It's a really weird situation.
So what you're saying is they catch someone in one of these situations, they say, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Everybody says we want nothing more to do with you, and then the clock is running.
No, first what happens is people get on. They can't even get it out. What kind of person? I mean, this is just right? They do that for like 3 days, and then you have to try and be, I don't know what I was doing. Try to make some cockamamie story up that you're not a psycho, and then you just sit there and you wait for the phone to ring because you know you can make people money. That's all it's about. Like they should just have a channel for people who screw up, like the help is homophobia. Right. Now you put him out on the street, right? He's out there drinking booze, you know? He's probably saying even more homophobic stuff, and everybody's coming by. You know? Just put him on a channel, like the Disgrace channel or something, right? You know? You could have and it's like you're in like the penalty box, and you just stay there.
Right? The dollar's crashing. Shit keeps you up at night. You're just thinking, what am I going to do when the zombies come? Right? Start reading up on shit. Get some powdered food. Plant some zucchini. Get a windmill. Right? And that's all well and good. But if you don't know how to fight, all you're doing is gathering supplies for the toughest guy in the block. Right? Thinking about that. What am I going to do? Some dude turn... So I'm like laughing my ass off. I'm like, dude, look, I just want to shoot the guy. I don't have to do a bunch of drywall work, you know? Reframe my diploma, get my parakeet another friend, you know? I just want to shoot the guy. So I'm like, how about one of these pistols? So he does like that classic, like that redneck trailing off thing, like, you want a pistol? Go ahead, get a pistol. Well, I know, I've just been here 20 years. You know? Get a shiny one, right? So I was like, what's wrong with getting a pistol? Run around the house and assemble it. There's some dudes chasing me with an axe. You know, even thinking this thing through, sweetheart. Just running around. Where's the scope? It's in the living room. He's in the living room. Now, we're getting this thing. I want that fucking thing loaded right on the bedroom wall. Right there. I'll put that thing on my jam sleeves. Just like that. No other point. That's funny, though, when you talk about getting a gun, you know? People like they either totally for it or complete. Go! No, I'm telling you. I don't buy in any of that shit. Stats are so fucking stupid. You know? Not that they're stupid, it's the way people apply them. You already have your mind made up, and then you go to I'mRight.com, you start memorizing a bunch of shit, and just throw it up at people. This guy tried to get me to go scuba diving. I go, I'm not going, I don't want to get eaten by a shark. He's like, well, actually, 90% of shark attacks actually happen in shallow water. It's like, no shit. Age where, pretty soon I'm just, I gotta pick a street. Either I'm gonna get married, or I'm just gonna be in that creepy old guy hanging out in a bar, red chest hair hanging out. No, seriously, I don't know what's wrong with me. I just, I think I just stayed single too long, man. It's just brutal. There's a critical point when you stay single too long and when your brain switches from, don't say that to her. Fuck it. And they'll just stand right next to it. They don't even have the decency to run away. They'll like light your clothes on fire. They're like, ta-da, I did that shit. Oh yeah. And I was so proud of my work, I stuck around to see your reaction. I invited a couple of friends to heckle you as you try to stomp it out with your bare feet. Oh yeah, they'll like key your car, sign their name. Susan did this shit. You're sitting like, now, can I at least put her in a headlock, give her a couple of... June, not one gay guy even fucking looked at me. Forget about even hit on me. I have never felt so old and undesirable in my life. Dude, I'm gonna tell you something. It's this one thing as a man, when you get so old that women don't look at you anymore, like you're gonna hit that age. You know that day's coming, but nobody tells you at some point you're gonna get so old, not even a man wants to fuck you, right? Dude, that is a statement. When you get so old... So, anyway, she's fucking walking up the street. I'm coming down, right? And it's clear to me that if we keep walking the way we're walking, we're going to bump into each other. Now, I don't want to bump into a woman. I don't want to bump into anybody in New York. So I do the gentlemanly thing. I clock what's going on. So what I do is I just gradually shift over into my own lane. Now everything's fine, right? But then the weirdest thing happened. We walk like a... Huh? So I turn around to have this confrontation. And let me tell you something. She never looked back. And I'm not going to lie to you. That bugged me. That bugged me for like 3 days. 3 days, I'm just walking around New York, just fucking goddamn fucking bullshit. There's no fucking way you didn't do that on purpose. Who does that? Who does, you know? And I'm feeling this anger. It's just burning me up, and I know eventually it's gonna settle in my chest. And then one more time, it's gonna be, I'm sorry, Dada, I'm sorry. It's like, I can't do this. I can't do this to my daughter. I can't do this to my kids. So I started reading up on anger. Like how to let go of shit, I think is what I Googled. And I found empathy. If you have empathy for somebody, you put yourself in their shoes, you can just, you know, figure out where they're coming from, where you're coming from, you can meet in the middle. So I said, all right, here we go. Let me put myself in her shoes. What would cause somebody to just have a stroke? Did she have Bell's palsy of her left side? You know? Was she a mummy? Did she have a wooden leg? You know? Was she one of those, those fucking diagonal walkers? You get behind them at the airport, you know, they're walking too slow, you try to go around to the right, they start dragging a suitcase over there. You go over to the left, they're coming back this way, you know, it's like they just got off a ship, and everything was just like, no, cut! Right? And I'm still mad. Still fucking mad. So I said, who gives a shit? I don't... All right, so judging by most of your silence, I will do this math for you. Come on. Let's have a little empathy here. Put yourself in a lesbian's shoes. All right? Who do lesbians date? Women. Who do they move in with? Women. Who do they get in relationships with? Women. Who do they eventually marry? Women. And I was thinking like, oh my God, I did that. I know what the fuck that's like. Never thought about getting married. It just looked horrific. It looked really difficult. It looked like a lot of them failed. Then if you had a kid, you have that whole weird situation, right? You got this thing that half looks like you, half looks like somebody you used to love and now want to slap the shit out of, right? Kid's coming up to the walk, you're like, son, just look to the right a little. Let me just kind of cheat, like, Dad, I want to look at you. It's brutal. My dad was the exact opposite. Fell in with him. 8 hours later, he'd show up, no apology, she'd have dinner ready. She messed it up, he'd give her a rough time. Christ, you cooked the shit out of it! I don't know. I think I'll be a good dad, though. You know? I do. No, I analyzed it. I've actually finally come to the point. I want to have a kid, and I don't think it's that hard. I don't. Part of me really believes that, and the other part is I just like pissing off the school way your parents used to. Sit down across from you. You want to tell me about your day? Did anybody offer you any drugs? You learning about sex? You're like, dude, you're fucking freaking me out. I'm trying to eat a Pop-Tart here, right? Hey, just take in the back, you play catch with them. That's it. You talk about life, right? What's that, son? We're not going to church today. Fuck that. That's all a bunch of bullshit. God's everywhere, but I got to go down there to see him? Really? And he's mad at me down there and I owe you money? Go fuck yourself. Listen, I know your mother and I, we've been arguing a lot lately, all right? But I know, you know I love her. I love her to death, okay? It's weird. I love her to death, but when I watch her eat toast, I just want to choke her. I don't know what it is. It's the routine, right? Left and the middle. Why don't you just fold it in half and fucking eat it? You know what I mean? It's unreal. You know? That's when you know you met the right one. When you want to slap the shit out of him, but you don't. You know? You want to leave, but you don't.
I don't know how they do it. How do they do it? Oh, the way they push that stroller with the round wheels. Yeah, and the baby in there. It's the most difficult job on the planet. Going to war pinned down by a sniper. What a joke. It's a joke. You ever burp a baby and forget to put that towel up there? Oh, there's another shirt you gotta wash, right? Oh yeah, lift with your knees and put it in that machine.
Size, it's not kid size. I already slouched. It's gonna be a bad interview, dude, and I'm blaming the chair.
I slouch or go down like this or
All right.
cross the legs. Bill, are you the head writer on the show, or how do you work in the writers' room on the show? Because you write your stand-up specials, you know, obviously you're a writer, but you've never really written on a sitcom before. If you go through your credits, you hadn't really been on a show before.
Why'd you have to bring that up? Just right out of the gate, he goes negative. Never really saw you write on anything before, Bill. Never really saw you write on anything before, Bill. There was all these other nice things on your IMDb page I could have brought up, but I noticed this one glaring thing that you've never done, and right out of the gate. Was it because I made fun of the chairs? I'm sorry. No, I'm not the head writer. Mike Price, the great Mike Price. I have to say there, he beats me in the writer's room. The great Mike Price from The Simpsons. He's the head guy, and I'm one of 10 in there. And people wore helmets when they rode bicycles, and everything was considered bullying. Those same stories didn't get laughs anymore. Everybody was sort of groaning like, oh, you know. I'd be like, no, this was funny. I deserve to get beaten for that. So that's when I decided, well, if I animate these things, and I'm a comedian, so I never did it because I have other jobs that I can do to make money. So it wasn't until I got with Mike Price, he turned it into a show. Vince Vaughn's company, too.
And what was your initial,
Like, we spent I felt like 6 weeks on noses and eyes, because you have to have everybody look. It's a weird thing, like animation.
Well, it sets up the world.
Yeah, but you have to come up with, like, your race of, like, animated people, you know? So, like, the Simpsons have the mustard yellow people with the giant eyes. The Simpsons have, like, the Pac-Man heads. So you got to kind of come up with your own thing that hasn't been done before. So I hope we did. We tried to have, like, we wanted the 70s. I remember when that car came out, me and my wife was like, me and my mother, what the hell's wrong with me? So that was the ugliest piece of shit I've ever seen. Sorry. I went out to a diner till like 4 a.m. last night. I got into an argument over music. This kid was trying to tell me that the Foo Fighters were better than the Beatles, and I just couldn't handle that.
Wait, what? Let's stick to this for a second, if you don't mind. Who the hell was arguing with you that the Foo Fighters are better than the Beatles?
He said he didn't like the Beatles because they didn't. When I listened to their music, he goes, it doesn't make me want to get on an elliptical. Like, this is how they are, because it doesn't make me want to grab ankle weights. You know, I don't even, and like an idiot, I actually argued with this person. Like, they're that far down the boulevard. Like, I was going to bring them somewhere to where I was. My eggs were getting cold, and I stayed in it. It was such a waste of time. It's just one of those days you wake up at like noon hating yourself. Like, I'm decades beyond having these things happen to me, and
how did you argue with that? If it started there, how did you argue about it?
Upsetting other people.
Argue with that. If it started there, how did you argue about it?
Upsetting other people. I vaguely remember saying to some guy there, like, because he was giving me shit for how loud I was being. I finally said to the guy, dude, who the fuck orders spaghetti at a diner? And I didn't hear another word out of him, so I was proud of that.
The one person who's excited for the huge menu orders spaghetti. You know?
Yeah, at some point I was going to make a point here. That's why I keep looking at here, and I just realize I'm blocking myself out of the camera. I love that you have the jib camera for this, like it's an action movie. Let's for this, like it's an action movie. Let's swoop in at these two guys sitting in these unbelievably small chairs. I literally feel like I'm going to fall onto the floor. This is insane. You really went all out with the audience, though. They got full-size adult chairs. Are these like from the 20s before they had like horse tranquilizers in our food? When everybody was like 5'1"? Yeah. Wait a minute. Do you own Fab TV?
Yes. How do you know that?
It's down. You just had that vibe. This is how CEOs. Like, I knew it. I was just like, this guy's not.
And by the way,
like
I had to take my host out.
The cameramen are dressed better than you are. I knew it. I was just like, this guy's not a reporter. Didn't even know the name of the show. Wow.
Well, you know what? Take it as a call. I wanted an interview. I'm like, no, I got to be in with Bill Burr. You're one of my idols.
So were you supposed to interview him?
Okay, here.
Unbelievable. What is that all day?
Take it as a call. I wanted an interview. I'm like, no, I got to be in with Bill Burr. You're one of my idols.
So were you supposed to interview him?
Okay, here.
Unbelievable. What is that all day? There you go. Now it looks like an interview.
You know, Mr. Burr, you know, how does it feel?
Okay, well, these are the first 3 movies I saw. I saw For the Love of Benji, and then we saw Scarface. She didn't know what it was. She knew it was like a gangster movie, but she thought it was like, you know, like Kojak or something. And if she wanted to leave then, I would have, but she didn't. You know, like Kojak or something. And if she wanted to leave then, I would have, but she didn't. She just is very reserved. She's just kind of like, this is
Maybe this will get better. Like she just... Hey, how are you? What's going on? Nice to be here. I thought this was over by 7. I'm a stand-up comedian. I tell shit jokes around the country. It's what I do. And I got to be honest, like, I don't know much about writers, you know, around the country. It's what I do. And I got to be honest, like, I don't know much about writers, you know. I used to think you guys were a bunch of nerds who couldn't hold up your end of the conversation, you know, with strange shoes. I did. Never was going to be yet another pilot that was going to fail. I'd just be sitting in a coffee house trying to talk to these writer, and it just would never connect, you know? So I always end up just staring at their shoes, but like, I don't know. I've always been like, I've always been like an idiot. And, no, I did. I used to think like a pony was a little horse. And there was these people down the street had this pony for like 7 years. And one day I said to my mother, I was like, when's that pony going to become a horse? So, I don't know. I didn't understand what you guys did. Like being in a writer's room. I never really understood like what a fucking hell it is. My life, I've spent it in there. And like, I've just never contemplated suicide more times in my life, you know? Every time you get that note, like, you know, I don't think we earned this moment. This isn't in our palette. Like, well, who do I root for? I just always just think, you know, there's always that sweet option. We're on like the 8th floor. I just think it. I think I could hit my car, you know, maybe land right in the driver's seat and be poetic. I do. I'm sick of Obama's wife. Yeah. This isn't some Republican rant either. It's just kind of first ladies in general. You know, I don't know what it is. All throughout my life, with each presidency, like these first ladies, they've just gotten more and more like chatty, like leaning into the frame, spitting out their ideas. It's just like, well, why are you talking? Right? You weren't elected. Shut up. Your husband's not running a lemonade stand here. He's running the country. You don't just chime in. Let me guess, is this considered sexist? It is? Why? Oh, okay, you just nodded there, lady. Let me ask you this, all right? Isn't it? You, sir, go do some first lady stuff, all right? Go get yourself some gloves that go up to your elbows. Smile and nod during speeches. Go put your own flair, redecorating the White House, right? Which leads you to Michelle Obama, right? Now she's sitting there holding up those hashtags. Remember that hashtag, bring back our girls? Remember that? It's like, it blew my mind. It's like, why are you showing me that? I'm a stand-up comedian. Like, that is the leader of the free world. Tell him to pick up the phone, call some Navy SEALs and solve it. What am I going to do? Show up with a sharpened mic stand? Hey, Michelle said to bring it back. Oh, it's unreal. I'll tell you what kills me. Hillary Clinton might run. She might run. That blows my mind. I mean, how she became a senator. She went from being the Tom Brady, and I don't know what happened. I just picked up a ball. I started lacing it. I'm leading receivers. It was incredible. I knew it was going to be like this. You know what's funny? There's actually people out there that think a woman being president is actually a good idea. You know? Can you believe that? See that they do? That'll do something. I don't say I rescued a dog. All right, it's obnoxious and it's not true. Sick of people doing that. She's a rescue. Yeah, I rescued her. Really? Did you pull her out of a burning building? My girlfriend actually, to be honest with you, got the dog while I was traveling. I was in a different state. My girlfriend got us a dog. Classic female move, you know? That's just a 10 to 15-year commitment. Why would you include me in that decision? Like, oh, I got this big meeting tomorrow. I got to hit my PowerPoints, graph how comedy exists. There's none of that. I just show up. I might have been the worst comic in the history. Like, first of all, I would get on stage. I was so nervous. I'd take the mic out of the mic stand, and I would immediately just start pacing.
Like a panther.
And it had like a nervous panther who got declawed and defanged. Yeah. And I was just walking back and forth, and my movement had nothing to do with what I was talking about. I can't even believe I got any laughs. I would just be like, yeah, so I was growing up, and my dad was crazy, and it was just like, it was like that thing, you know, the old carnival game where you try to shoot the duck. Actually, Nerd Jesus died in the last year, right? Steve Jobs. Yeah, he died, right? I know, a lot of nerds here tonight. I know, you're sad. I didn't get it. I didn't get the big deal they made about that guy. When he died, they were like, he changed the world. That's insane. He changed the world. When he died, they were like, he changed the world. That's insane. He changed the world. The world was one way, and then Steve Jobs came, and it was another. What did he do? Somebody, for the love of God, what the fuck did that guy do? What did he do? He told other people what to invent? I want my entire music collection in that phone. Collection in that phone. Get on it! Right? And then these poor, nameless, faceless scientists got to go in a back room and figure it out. How the fuck are we going to get all of this into this? I mean, what year does this guy think this is? This is crazy. This is like Buck Rogers. Dude, my kid has a birthday in like 11 months. Steve Jobs just walking by. I don't hear any thinking going on in there. Another one. There's another one I just came up with on the way to work. I was reading a magazine the other day, turning pages, you know. I like to turn pages on a screen that aren't even there. Yeah, wrap your fucking heads around that, guys. See you in 8 years. Where you going, Michael? Big, little, get on it. Right? And all these people slave away to make his vision come true. And then they have the big nerd. This is always uncomfortable. I know, you bought into it, right? That whole advertising, the way they aligned themselves with some of the greatest people of all time. Jesus, Gandhi, me. Remember that? Muhammad Ali, John Lennon, this guy. How the fuck was that dude like any of them? Gandhi didn't have a sweatshop. Nah, he didn't have people leaping to their deaths only to catch a net and get ricocheted back through the window. This is what all the silence is about. New phone can't fit the old charger, so then you got to throw it out. Ends up in the ocean around some octopus's neck. Do you realize how much sea life is ecstatic that that man is no longer walking the earth? That's where it all ends up, you know. Doesn't go to landfill, ends up in the ocean. You realize that? I hate people who say I don't pollute. I don't pollute. Yeah, you do. You use shit and you throw it off. Stupid little flippers. All the fads. You remember rollerblading? Remember that? Everybody had them. We set up cones, we did little tricks, right? One little homophobic joke killed that entire fad. What's the hardest thing about rollerblading? Telling your parents you're gay. Full-grown adults. Dude, I'm not gay. I don't have the cooties. These mean I suck.
Yeah, there's nothing stopping you other than the fact that you guys are just into destroying each other. No, now it's going to get quiet. I see all that sneaky shit you do. Ladies, if you could just support the WNBA the way you support a fat chick that's proud of her body and is no longer a threat to you, you know, that league would be doing better numbers than the NBA. Why don't you do me a favor? Try this shirt on. You're like, okay. How come the sleeves are so long? Oh, because we're going to tie your arms behind your back because you're out of your fucking mind. That's it. I'm not going to have you out here scaring the shit out of people. Get in the fucking van. Then you got in the van, and that was it. They send you to a nut house. That's it. Boom, bam, done. Nut house. But the problem was, was the people at the nut houses started fucking the patients because everybody knows.
Then it occurred to me, I haven't gotten funnier. The show has gotten really bad. So yeah, I'm funny compared to, well, you'll see later.
You know, I do have a dog. That doesn't count for anything. I've never understood that. You know, I love my dog, but I've learned a lot being a dog owner, man. You know, any dog's a good dog unless you're a psycho. You know, I got a pit bull. It's still a great dog unless you're a fucking psycho. And evidently, I'm a psycho because my dog has just been a complete maniac over the last, 6 months, you know? I didn't realize that dogs feed off your vibes, you know? Like, if you're chilling, they're chilling, you know? I'm so selfishly in my own world. I'd be, on the computer and would crash and go, oh, really? Really? Dog's over in the corner with, a chew toy. I never noticed, that Game 7 look she was getting on her face. And one day, I amped her up too much, had no clue, and I went outside. We were just walking down the street, and some poor bastard comes the other way, and the dog's like, that's that motherfucker. Lunge at this guy. I had to pull her back. I'm like, dude, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. She's never done anything like that, right? Looking down at the dog, what's wrong with you? Yeah. So I'm like, I gotta take this thing to a trainer, man. So I load it up in the Prius, and I drive over there, right? Yeah, I have a Prius. Go ahead, judge me. I love that shit. You have a Prius, people, you can't win. You got a truck with a big lift kit, people, it's probably because he has a little dick. All right? How come it's not because he has a dick down to the floor? Maybe that's why he needs all that clearance, right? You know? If that means you have a little dick, then if I have a Prius, doesn't have a little slack in it, and this dog just lunged right at the dude's balls, right? And just barely missed him and just got a big mouthful of his big cargo shorts, right? And immediately he just grabs it and goes, all right, get out of here, right? But instinctually, I tried to help out, and he just goes, get the fuck out of here! Yeah, I didn't realize that the only reason why the dog was acting like that was because I was there, and it felt like it needed to protect me. So the second I left, the situation immediately just became awkward, right? The dog was just sitting there okay, I thought we were, together, and it's all right, easy. You play any games with her? I go, yeah, at the end of the hike. I let her, for reward for going on the hike, I let her run up the stairs by herself. I go, go on, Cleo. I let her run up the stairs, and I count 5 1,000, and then I run up there, and then we start wrestling. Put her in a headlock, sweep her front legs, right? But her tail's wagging, She's not growling. I go, that's a good thing, right? He's like, no, it's fucking horrible. I'm like, why? He goes, you just taught your dog to claim the house and then fight for it every fucking day after the hike.
What's going on here?
Mushrooms, baby. The shrooms. I'm shrooming.
How fucked up this is. He's shrooming, and he's wearing pants like he went riding a horse today. Side saddle or some shit.
I'm just going to tell you how I discovered you.
I do owe my whole career to you. Yeah. I was struggling until Bobby Lee discovered me.
Oh, no, not discover you in terms of what is it going to...
This is when things start to happen.
I'm not going to allow this to happen.
Reversal.
I'm not going to allow this to happen.
Reversal.
Yeah. I'm just going to plug away. You know what I mean?
Listen, you can talk to him all you want. I can hear it.
Did you guys see the picture of Donald watching his wife vote?
A lot of trust in that relationship.
See if something great has happened to you. And
Yeah.
in this case,
Yeah, the Red Sox won the World Series.
Yeah,
I know. Not.
But then if you like,
I don't do that. I don't
don't?
go to the stadium, posing stadium, wear the other team's
you don't
stuff.
You
and
had
then
no Red
turn
Sox.
around and look at the crowd and do that. Whenever I see that, I'm just like, that guy should get the kicked out of him. And in a perfect world, that happens. I used to wear stuff, the opposing team stuff, because I moved away from Boston, but I just got sick of it. And it's not even being in the stands. It's when you go to the bathroom. That's the worst. Yeah, some guy knows. Yeah, you go out to the bathroom. They wait till you're doing your thing. And then they push in they take out their childhood on you, and you got this bullseye on your head, and it's just like, why am I doing? What am I, Steven Seagal? I'm gonna fight all these guys with my out. You made that movie, right? I think you made a movie like that. So I'm just like, I am a very courteous fan.
So if somebody said I had blood in my stool, they don't actually see blood. They see it's black.
Right. So the higher up in your GI,
Wait,
the blacker.
wait. It's black.
Right. So the higher up in your GI,
Wait,
the blacker
wait.
it is.
What sort of background do you have?
I was a nurse.
Oh, okay. So wow. Because you really came off like I was like. No, this happens a lot on podcasts. All of a sudden, I'm listening to a comedian like telling me how my liver works. I'm just like, wait a minute, who the fuck are you again? Okay, I'm sorry. All right, so you're a nurse. All right.
You know, like when feminists go like, oh, and they have like their missiles, these dick-shaped things, and blah blah blah. And I'm always thinking like, well, there is physics.
Wait a minute, who the fuck are you again? Okay, I'm sorry. All right, so you're a nurse. All right.
You know, like when feminists go like, oh, and they have like their missiles, these dick-shaped things, and blah blah blah. And I'm always thinking like, well, there is physics and aerodynamics and all that involved. Like if you have it shaped like a twat, I don't think it's gonna make. I don't think it's gonna make it to another country unless you frisbee it, right? And even then, that gap's gonna fucking be a lot of drag.
While people are talking about eating fake pussies.
That was before. That was before.
Gonna fucking be a lot of drag.
While people are talking about eating fake pussies.
That was before.
I don't want to be responsible for that shit. I didn't. But the kid was in the fucking building.
Before. Will you shut up? Jesus fucking Christ!
Is that a Rolex?
Yes, it is. I finally bought one. 25 years in this business.
Is it white gold or stainless?
I don't know what it is.
Is it heavy?
No.
Then it's stainless.
Oh, is that what it is? Thank you. Thank you for
8-foot pool down to the bottom and not clearing your ears. I feel bad for your wife.
You know what because the older guys, Robert Kelly's and all, they all call you Billy. Colin calls you Billy, but I fucking Bill.
I'm
you know
just
what I mean?
immediately noticing that I don't know about the chain if it's thick enough to be that level of confidence.
Yeah,
it's more of a necklace.
When the chain's out,
he has on a fat chick ankle bracelet around his fucking neck.
around. Most looking. They're all banging in the same pool. They're like a bunch of Dalmatians that can talk.
That's right.
You're whatever incognito. You're an enigma.
What? Because I make a pie? No, you know what it is? You're not a good listener. You've known me for 10 years. You have no idea who I am. It's all about comedy with you and moving up the ladder, pushing people.
Now, are you getting out of an existing house and
No, I'm going from a one-bedroom apartment, and I figured I'd finally go out and buy a damn house. And not have. It's like 3 days. They flip out for 3 days. They try to bully you into an apology.
Well, you can't ignore them when they're right in the audience and you're playing to them.
You tell them to shut the fuck up.
Yeah, believe me.
It's a comedy show.
Trump's winning New Hampshire. Hillary's winning Virginia.
Really?
And there's a little kid here.
Yeah, somebody decided it was a good idea.
Somebody please take a photo of this Last Supper.
That's how you end it.
There we go, right?
Yeah. I always give the same. Mine is all area codes. They go, what's your phone number? I'm like 323-818-2125.
We've never taken a break in the middle of a guest.
I know. I had all this momentum going. Now I got to start all over again. Go ahead. Go to the card. See this? We won game one. Here comes the second of the doubleheader.
If I could work with anybody dead or alive, I'd want to work.
Greatest person I've ever seen in my life.
Yes. Served me well. I've never worked for anything. Yeah. I was born on a yacht. It's just all been downhill.
I don't even mean it in. I don't mean it in a genetic way. I mean like.
I do. I'm talking full-on white privilege. I was stunned when I first heard about white privilege. I had no idea what it was. It's like, hey, everybody doesn't get to do this.
It seems as if the sun is.
See you tomorrow.
This dude is knocking it out of the park. He's one of my favorites. Here is Bill Burr. Look at you.
How are you?
Oh, it's
I
good.
love that you did the audience applause for everybody. Yeah, there he is. Come on. Keep it going for him.
It was really, you relate to adults differently, people that you knew forever. And I always hated when somebody who didn't have a kid goes, you don't get it, man. You don't get it till you have. And I was like, fuck you, I get it. It's like having a dog. Get it till you have. And I was like, fuck you, I get it. It's like having a dog, but it's more intense.
I love the racist white guy thing. A bunch of racist white guys. They came out of the forest, and they were just going, Trump, Trump, Trump. It's like, where were all these racist white guys the last two elections when they could have voted against a black guy? They were fine. Oh, I don't mind the black guy, but this white lady, we gotta stop her. She's gonna take her four-wheeler.
They just like see that open day. They're like, oh my God, let's fucking fill it up with shit. They just come at you with like one horrible idea after another. They have the worst ideas. They do. You ever get to this one, they'll be like, you want to go to brunch? You want to go to brunch on Sunday? And inside you're like, fucking no! But you can't say that. You got to keep her happy, right? See what I'm saying? Where are all those feminists then? You can't find them. They had no feminists in a house fire. You can take the most hardcore feminist, you know, some chick right in your face, you chauvinistic son of a bitch, you know, little short, little haircut, you know. Second those flames break out, she'll twist those little hairs into pigtails. Oh, I'm just a girl. I want to go play jump rope. She pops her head up. Hey, Bam Bam, tell Stevie Wonder to come down and play some songs tonight. Now, I found out she's doing a tour because she's doing a book tour. Yeah, she wrote a book. She wrote a book about not having a job. I gotta read that fucking book. Chapter 1, how to know if a dick tastes president. Someday there's gonna be the first female president, which means there's gonna be the first male first lady, right? And you wait, you fucking wait. The first time that dude opens his mouth about some political shit, you watch all these feminists. They're all gonna be, you shut the fuck up! You shut the fuck up! It is her time now. It is her time. She was elected, not you. Go pick out some plates, bitch. You are the first lady. See how you do. You know? You fly him out. You land, you bring another 28 back. We'll let you do this for a while. You do this for a while. We don't get any complaints. No up and down, no, none of that shit. We'll move you up to 35 people, and then one day you'll be in a jet. Woo, we're going a little faster, right? Big planes, you get in the fucking pilot that knows what he's doing. He's probably fought in a war. He's used to getting shot at. He can't. So I'm on a smaller plane, and everything's going great. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, we hit this turbulence. Just right? And it stops. And everybody looks around like laughing nervously, like, oh. All of a sudden it comes back with a vengeance. You can literally hear like the metal the plane's made out of, like. All of a sudden this dude, like 3 rows back, starts making like these bitchy noises, like, oh, I'm not gonna lie, I have never been so fucking scared in my entire life. Dude, that noise is acceptable out of a female or a child. To turn around and see a 37-year-old mustachioed male going, woo, woo, woo. Dude, the hair was standing up on my arms. I'm praying to a higher power. I don't even believe in this shit. I just wish I had the balls to turn around and be like, dude, would you shut the fuck? You think I'm not up here thinking, woo, woo? I am. But how does that help us for me to join you and turn this fuselage into a haunted house? You know? You know what kills me? What absolutely kills me is some woman is going to fall in love with this guy, marry him, and make half fucking kids. And you know what? We become weaker as a species. We do. Go to the park? You want to go to the container store, get some containers for your t-shirts? This is the worst one. Ever get this one? Want to go to brunch? You want to go to brunch on Sunday? And inside you're like, fucking no! You can't say that, right? You got to keep them happy. So what do? You agree. Like, yeah, let's go to brunch. What a great idea. Oh, you just want to flip the whole fucking table over? It's horrendous. I'm trying to learn to pick my battles when I date girls. I usually argue with women all the time, man. I'm stupid like that. You know? Like I dated this girl one time. She was like really into like women's issues.
So we used to always have these dumbass arguments. Like one time she came up to me, she goes, okay, explain this to me, Bill. Why does a guy make more an hour to do the exact same job, huh? I go, I'll tell you why. Because I got my shirt on fire going, let's go, people, let's go, let's go! So that's how I look at it. No, it's $1 an hour surcharge. That if something fucked up happens, either I can't leave or I gotta like get in the way of it to give you a head start, like rabid dog, run honey, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. You hear a bump in the night, I gotta go check it out, like yes, he does have a knife. Hardcore feminist, some chick right in your face, like you chauvinistic son of a bitch. Little short, little haircut, the whole 9 yards, right? Second those flames break out, she's gonna twist those little hairs into pigtails. No, I'm just a girl. I wanna go play jump rope. And leave you standing in a burning house like you're not flammable. You know, but I'm not a dick though. I'm not saying I think a woman should make $1 less an hour to do the same job. The other night, somebody broke into our car sitting in the driveway. Starts fucking with her head, right? So she starts reading up on guns, you know? She's reading too much because now she wants to get one, but she's just like, well, I heard you got to keep the bullets in the safe, keep the stock in the garage. And then what? I run around the house and assemble it. There's some dudes chasing me with an axe. You know, even thinking this thing through, sweetheart. Just running around. Where's the scope? It's in the living room. He's in the living room. And this thing through, sweetheart. Just running around. Where's the scope? It's in the living room. He's in the living room. No, we're getting this thing. I want that fucking thing loaded right on the bedroom wall. Right there. I'll put that thing up my jam sleeves. Just like that. There's no other point. That's funny, though, when you talk about getting a gun, you know? People, like, they either totally for it or completely against it. You know, they either go nuts and start screaming, right? No, I'm telling you. I don't buy into any of that shit. Stats are so fucking stupid. You know? Not that they're stupid, it's the way people apply them. You already have your mind made up, and then you go to I'mRight.com, you start memorizing a bunch of shit, and then just throw it up at people. This guy tried to get me to go scuba diving. I go, I'm not going, I don't want to get eaten by a shark. He's like, well, actually, 90% of shark attacks actually happen in shallow water. It's like, no shit, that's where the people are. Here, right? However, the second I took off the costume and they cleaned off my face and I put on my regular clothes, I immediately just looked like some sad old queen that never found love, right? And as luck would have it, I was in New York City in June, which I quickly found out was Gay Pride Month. The whole month. And let me tell you something, the gay guys show up strong. It is wall to wall, which I quickly found out was Gay Pride Month. The whole month. And let me tell you something, the gay guys show up strong. It is wall to wall. The fucking island is almost tipping over. There's so many of them. And I'm sitting there like going, oh my God, 30 days of this shit. I'm walking around with this orange Freddie Mercury fucking dick broom on my face. I am going to be getting harassed up and down the street. I was an actor the way other lesbians do. It's not calculus. No, but I get it. I understand in 2021 you're not allowed to say you know what a lesbian looks like, right? Judging by your silence, yes, right? Yeah, you're not allowed, right? Well, it's funny. If some white kid came in here, like 20 years old, hair slicked back, collar popped, loafers, no socks, you'd be looking at him thinking like, all right, frat boy, date rapist, his dad's a judge, he's not going to jail. Yards, she comes back into my lane again. So now, like, I'm up against the curb. So now I'm like thinking like, okay, how do I do the politically correct math here? Like, what am I supposed to be doing here? Am I supposed to like fucking, am I supposed to step off into the bike lane? And have some young kid on his electric bicycle come by, 40 miles an hour, run me over, I go down to the pavement, knees and elbows, and for the rest of my life, every time it rains, I gotta think about this lesbian that walked me off the fucking block? Is that what I'm supposed to do? In public, people are gonna see this shit, what's gonna happen, right? But I'm not gonna lie to you, she started closing in, she was moving, so I like leaned in, like I really got my legs underneath me because she was built like a janitor and I was not going to get spun around. I wasn't getting spun around, not having that on the fucking logbook, right? So I lean into this shit
And at the last second, she turned her shoulder, and we just missed shoulders, but our forearms still slapped together with significant enough force that it warranted a turnaround. Around and go like old school Dustin Hoffman, De Niro, like, hey, I'm fucking walking here, huh? I fucking moved twice, you didn't see that? You drifted 2 times, huh? So I turn around to have this confrontation. And let me tell you something, she never looked back. And I'm not going to lie to you, that bugged me. That bugged me for like 3 days. 3 days, I'm just in my chest. And then one more time, it's going to be, I'm sorry, Dada, I'm sorry. It's like, I can't do this. I can't do this to my daughter. I can't do this to my kids. So I started reading up on anger. Like how to let go of shit, I think is what I Googled. And I found empathy. If you have empathy for somebody, you put yourself in their shoes, you can just, figure out where they're coming from, where you're coming from, you can meet in the middle. So I said, all right, here we go. Let me put myself in her shoes. What would cause somebody to, was she a mummy? Did she have a wooden leg? Was she one of those, those fucking diagonal walkers? You get behind them at the airport, they're walking too slow, you try to go around to the right, they start dragging their suitcase over there, you go over to the left, they're coming back this way, it's like they just got off a ship, and everything was just like, no, cut! Right? And I was still mad. Still fucking mad. So I said, I don't give a shit. I don't give a fuck. Women. Who do they move in with? Women. Who do they get in relationships with? Women. Who do they eventually marry? Women. And I was thinking like, oh my God, I did that. I know what the fuck that's like. I know what it's like to live with one of those fucking things. I know exactly what that, it's hopeless. Trying to make them happy. Hey, am I getting the shiny thing? Did I do it right? Huh? Trying to get them to take responsibility for their actions.
Came home, he came in the front door, you went out the back door. You just remember going into the woods and you just stay in there till his car left again.
You're thinking about going back to church.
Yeah. I don't believe in any of it, really. And my church, I feel like I'm going there, I'm helping to pay for a legal team. So I don't want to go, no, they only rape kids. Come on, here we go. You're not against that, are you? Jesus Christ. Dude, if you took 90%.
Okay.
Did that make sense?
Yeah.
Going around saying that 87% of the world sucks, you're not going to get one.
No, but this is the thing.
They're not going to give you one.
I can say that because there's nothing you can take away from me. What are you going to do? You're going to say I can't do stand-up in strip malls anymore? That's usually the punishment. So the genius...
I fly a lot, and there's this whole new thing of generation of people that take their socks and their shoes. Make sure, she doesn't marry a jerk. And then, then I can just kick off, and that'll be it. Happy holidays, everybody. There you go. I think he just kind of, told people what to invent. He just kind of came in I want my whole music collection in that phone. Get on it! And then all these nameless, faceless guys...
Yeah.
Made it happen.
Yeah.
And then they have the big nerd concert, and he goes out there by himself. No belt. Doesn't owe you an apology. You just don't go to the restaurant anymore. Right. Rich kids just sit around, doing blow, sitting in Ferraris. They don't do anything. It's the poor kids that they make stuff happen. So yeah.
Why respond to somebody who's being negative to you on Twitter?
Because it's fun. Women are so overrated, right? We went from We went from not listening to them, right? We went from We went from not listening to them to now it's ridiculous. Like that believe women. It's like all of them.
I mean, I don't know.
Again, the good old days.
Yeah. Anyway.
They don't even call it Alphabet City anymore. You know that? They call it the Lower East Side. Things, gentrification, whatever.
Was that offensive to illiterate people?
What about the angle, there was a...
Taking notes. That's what I did when I was a kid. I'll never forget that.
Because it goes the opposite direction now, of course. You get a tax break for the more kids you get. So you're saying it should go the other direction.
Yeah, no more kids. I'm anti-kids. They need to be stopped. It's one year what people should do. You know, like Richard Branson, one of these hot air balloon rich guys, should just like float in over them right before it and just start dropping everything that they want. But even then, they would start stampeding. Like, no matter how.
I agree with you because I gave up the stuff for Lent and it's driving her nuts.
You never saw.
What do you think about population, world population?
It's completely out of control.
Well, what about be fruitful and multiply?
I think we did that. I think we achieved that goal, and it's time to move on to something else. I mean, it's just going to get worse and worse and worse. Like, I think we need to kind of curb the babies for a minute.
And I poured some batter in a pan, and I put it in the oven, and then 5 minutes later, you came by and you grabbed the pan, you threw it across the floor, and I went, what the fuck, you just ruined my birthday cake? And then you were like, well, that wasn't a cake yet. Well, it would have been if you didn't do what you just did. There would have been a cake in 50 minutes. Something happened to that cake, you cake murdering son of a bitch. Right?
No, I think I know. I think I know how to raise a kid. You know what it is? You just play catch with them. That's how you raise a kid. You play catch with them. You just talk about life. You distract them by throwing the ball. You know, unless you're like a sociopath and you don't feel shit. Unless you got somebody duct taped upside down in your apartment, you know. And if you do something like that, I want you to feel like you can come to me. You know? Yeah, come to me, confess all of that. We'll go down to the precinct. We'll tell them everything. Yeah, I'm going to turn you in. This isn't fucking Dexter. What are you mind?
Let's have a little empathy here. Put yourself in a lesbian's shoes. Who do lesbians date? Women. Who do they move in with? Women. Who do they get in relationships with? Women. Who do they eventually lose again? And then you figure it out. It makes you feel stupid. And then you see some bald idiot with a giant orange mustache. And you're like, you know what? I went a couple months back. Professional soccer player, right? She goes on to ESPN or one of these sports channels, and she starts bitching, going like, I don't understand. How come female athletes don't make as much as male professional athletes? Right? And all of these men had to sit there and act like they didn't know what the answer was. It's just like, what are you doing? Trying to watch a game here. You know, no, there's a time and a place. Look, I know somebody that has died of cancer. I would never go to the movies with you and in the middle of it hit pause and be like, oh, by the way, Conan, I know this guy. He died of cancer. It was horrific. I could have lifted him up off the sheet with 2 fingers. It was horrible. Hey, enjoy. Oh, by the way, I got molested when I was 9. Enjoy.
So your Christian background, disrespectful, or just you were just having fun with some of the crucifixes and stuff like that?
I don't even know what I mean, we did maybe 2 jokes about that.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't you think the Catholic Church went a little too far? More so than my cartoon.
All right, listen.
A couple of jokes. I know this is a morning show. You can't bring up all those crimes.
You know what? Technically,
they just sort of kept moving them around. You know, like those killer whales at SeaWorld. After it kills a trainer, they'll then move it up to Seattle. They don't give them their background. They'll then move it up to Seattle. They don't give them their background.
All right, I'm not totally following, but I don't think I want to.
You know what I'm talking about? It's a morning show. I understand.
I
came on. That kid missed the graduation, and then it was a feel-good story.
It was a feel-good, and we want to leave.
If you want to feel good about America, you watch the morning shows. You don't watch this, you know. We were joking earlier. If that kid's story about the graduation was late night, that would have been a whole different story.
What do you think?
He's still missing. We can't find him. All we found was his hat. But you watch.
I think if you watch those, you're an idiot. I don't understand why you would sit there wasting your time. They all say the same thing. They're all like, you know, over the last 4 years, everything good that happened was because of us. And we would have done more good stuff if it wasn't for those guys. And then the Democrats go, oh, we did all the good stuff. It's like you're all working for the same guy. They bet on both horses. And then it just kind of goes. That guy that says, like, there's a meteor headed right towards the planet. That's the guy you vote for. You go with the psycho, because there's no way there's any corporate money behind that guy, right? Like, that guy is going to come on TV. He's going to come on TV, like, reading files from the Pentagon. Like, you know what else they're doing? Like, just freaking people out.
Wow.
Yes, I did.
Did you pay attention to the election? We got a new mayor here. Bloomberg is up.
I didn't even know there was an election. I honestly don't. I don't pay attention at all.
I want my entire music collection in that phone. Get on it! Right? And then these poor, nameless, faceless scientists got to go in a back room and figure it out. How the fuck are we going to get all of this into this? I mean,
What year does this guy think this is? This is crazy. This is like Buck Rogers. Dude, my kid has a birthday in like 11 months. Steve Jobs just walking by. I don't hear any thinking going on in there. Jobs just walking by. I don't hear any thinking going on in there. Just strutting around the office, eating some pretentious fruit like a pear, right? Just throwing out ideas. There's another one. There's another one I just came up with on the way to work. I was reading a magazine the other day, turning pages, you know? I like to turn pages on a screen that aren't even there. Yeah, wrap your fucking heads around that, guys!